Hey dads, welcome to Father Figures, a podcast dedicated to you, a dad trying to manage and grow your business while being the best family man you can. I'm bringing together dads from all walks of life who live by the mantra, family first, business second. With guests and solo episodes, we'll dive into the lives of dads all over and hear how they manage being the best dad they can, what has worked, and what needs improvement. We'll discuss being a good spouse and role model and dive into the constant pull we have to grow our businesses and support our families financially while supporting them emotionally. Can't wait to have you on this journey. Let's jump in. All right. Welcome back to another episode of Father Figures. I have Tony Rech with us.
Yes, sir.
With Rise and Shine, Food Truck, and Fundraising.
And fundraising.
God makes you fundraising. I'm excited. That'll be a fun topic. He's got a crazy backstory on that. Been doing it for almost 2 decades.
A little over 2 decades.
Fundraising stuff. The heart on this guy is crazy. So I'm excited to share it. We're going to jump into a bunch of stuff, but welcome.
Thank you, Jake. I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. So as with all the other podcasts, again, like we talked about before the show, it's really just back and forth. I want to learn about you. Others want to learn about you. A little backstory. So, who's Tony? What's life like for you right now? And then maybe we'll dive back a little bit more.
Sure. Well, I was born in Menasha.
Okay.
Born in 1968, so I'm an old man. My dad
Experience.
Yes. My dad ran the Elks Club in Menasha. He managed that, tended bar there, took care of people.
Okay.
In 1975, my aunt and uncle bought a resort up in Crivets, which is about 50 miles north of Green Bay.
Oh, yeah. That's what Crivets is, yeah.
They asked my dad, since he had the experience running the Elks Club, to run the resort. So we moved up there in 1975. I was 7 years old. And the resort's 26 acres. Beautiful land right on Lake Nocatay. 13 of that 26 acres was grass. So I officially started my work career with a riding lawnmower.
You got a riding on that?
Yeah, we had 2 riding lawnmowers.
Okay.
But at 7 years old, I officially started my work career. I cut grass during the summer, probably 20 to 30 hours a week, depending on, how dry, how wet, all that kind of stuff. And then cleaned the bar, swept the floors. We used to have an old time bottle chute where all the bottles would get dropped off, and then I'd restack the returnables and all that kind of stuff. Stock coolers with sodas and so forth. So they instilled solid work ethic when I was young.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get me wrong, I wasn't working 80 hours a week, and it wasn't anything crazy, but I learned the value of putting in effort and working hard, and because we had a resort, and my dad and mom have like the biggest hearts. They're like the greatest people. They taught me, or I paid attention, and I wouldn't have known the term back then, but servant leadership through and through. Owning a resort or managing a resort, running the bar. We did some light restaurant things, burgers, pizza, stuff like that.
Okay.
It was all about our guest experience, wanting them to come back, because we had cabins that we rented out along the lake shore during the summer.
Yeah.
And then we had a trailer park as well where people rented their sleeve.
Yep.
And kept their trailer there. So it was all about wanting them to feel welcomed and be there and enjoy their experience. So developed a lot of relationships from year to year. The same families would come back and stay in the cabin. So I'd look forward and remember what kids were going to come with them. And, between the fishing and playing catch, and we had a couple of horseshoe pits. Mm-hmm. There was always a ton of things to do. So really learned in my experience at a young age to build relationships, to take care of people, to treat them well. And I think that they did a great job setting my groundwork for who I've become today. Yeah. So I ended up graduating Crivets High School, 1986. Okay. Went to UW Oshkosh. and was a radio, TV, film major. I was going to be the next Chris Burke. So I was at ESPN, nice stats guys, number guys. Football, baseball, basketball. I just love sports.
Yep.
And as a bigger kid, I was always pretty athletic. I had the best arm, had a big leg.
Yeah.
I kicked and punted in high school along with playing the line.
Yeah.
I was the fourth string quarterback, if anything drastic ever happened. But in '86, graduated, go to Oshkosh, played a little football, not much. But that's where I met my now wife, Stephanie.
Awesome.
She had gone to the University of Minnesota, and she was a D1 scholarship track athlete. She's the 1987 female athlete of the year for the state of Wisconsin. She went to Brown High School.
Yep, that's right.
She and Sonia Hennig, who was a basketball player for Racine Morlick, who went on to, I believe, to play for Stanford and win a couple national championships for Stanford for Terra Vanderveer there. But so she was the famous one, the athletic one. She went to state 7 times in 3 sports, so swimming, basketball, and track.
Yeah.
But she had to have reconstructive surgery on her ankle, given UW Oshkosh, and that's where the love story there began.
Yeah.
And this August 13th, we'll be married for 30 years.
Congratulations.
Yes, thank you. So she's phenomenal. She's a teacher, elementary school.
Okay.
So
that fits her perfectly.
Fits her perfect. She's one of the, if not the best bio teacher. I don't say that just because but she is on it. The kids love her.
Yeah.
They get a ton out of it. It's not just let's roll the ball out in the middle of in the gym and let the kids go at it. I mean, she's very, very good at what she does, which has helped me. I give her a ton of credit, along with my parents, for the person I've become, because she, even though she was a national champion, shot putter, a state champion, she's in 4 Hall of Fames. Mm-hmm. She's a 6-time All-American. I always joke because I won a pool tournament. Athleticism isn't necessarily her thing. It's the mindset and like just tackling everything.
Yeah.
And
just a grind mentality.
Just a grind mentality and dedication and overcoming every obstacle.
Yeah.
And growing up, even though we had some obstacles, like my life was pretty nice, pretty easy. Grew up on a resort, I could fish all the time. And have friends over. Like everybody loved to come to our place because we had the big fields, open fields.
Yeah.
We had the bar so that I could have soda and chips and candy bars, clearly, whatever I wanted to. But between my folks and my wife, really set the table. And of course, I have to give a lot of credit to my roommates from college because we stayed close. We just had a weekend.
So you guys do weekends still?
Weekend up at Lake Wagon.
Yep.
And we're not as crazy as we once were. The experience has set in, and we're like my roommates from college. They're all my best friends. They're the big-hearted guys who always give and coach and all those kinds of things. So
so you've just been surrounded with that.
Yeah, I think one of the keys
here about your environment. You grew up and still have such a great environment.
Yeah, I think the key. Every one of us is different. Every one of us has different passions, different things we're good at, different things we like to stay away from and avoid.
Yep.
For me personally, and I would recommend it to anybody, the better people that you can surround yourself with, the more enjoyable your life is. Mm-hmm. The more you're grounded, and the more you tend to want to. You understand that having those relationships and giving back to other people, really, keeps life fun and exciting, and you want to go forward and do as much as you can to be kind and treat other people with dignity and respect.
Yeah.
I think it's a big key.
Yeah.
The more and the better people you can surround yourself with, I think the better that your life experience is going to be, without question. Mm-hmm. So I'm blessed, truly blessed. I could not have better parents, better friends. I've got some friends from high school are still close with and are phenomenal.
Yeah.
And now we're all married. We have kids. I'd say 75 to 80% of the guys that hung out with in college became coaches themselves.
Okay.
Either before or after they had kids.
Just all that leadership and giving back mentality is just stuck with all of you guys.
Yeah, that's really what it's about. I mean, because now we have a chance to affect not only our kids.
Yep.
Someone who has participated in athletics all my life.
Mm-hmm.
I've had some great coaches along the ways, mentors, guys that and gals that were all about the experience and helping me develop as a person, not necessarily dead set on winning, right? And becoming a coach and taking the good from the people that you get to coach with. And trust me, I had some people that they were tough.
Yeah.
Take. Yeah. And it wasn't because they didn't know their sport, but just the way that they treated all of us, not just me, but all of the kids on the team.
Yeah.
It was more about them and winning and not, developing a culture. Yeah. That from top to bottom you could count on. So I took all the good things that I've learned along the way, and all the things that I would not like, I absolutely hated. Yeah. And I threw those out. Yep. And I've coached football, baseball, basketball, and a little golf for a quarter century now, for 25 years plus years. Mm-hmm. It's rewarding to see where kids start and where they go by the beginning of the season, end of the season, or fifth grade football to eighth grade football, and just watch them grow, become great young men. Yeah. And hopefully, have them become great brothers and sons and dads and grandpas as they go through life. Yeah.
I feel like I think this will tie in, and I feel like this was on purpose, that you were built with such a servant leadership and coaching mentality. So let's jump to the family now. So we had talked a little bit about your situation with you and your wife, and you guys had bought a house, and you guys were planning a family, and some things changed for you guys rather quickly.
Yeah. So
in terms of
we had moved down. We from Oshkosh when my wife graduated, because I told her, wherever your job takes us as a teacher.
Yep.
I don't call myself a salesman, but I was a kitchen and bath designer. I sold windows, cabinets, and doors. Okay. I'm like, I'll find one. Yeah. Let's get you where you need to be. Yep. So we moved to the Falls in '94. We managed an apartment building for a couple of years. Okay. We saved up and we bought a house in 1999. And it was late 98, we moved in 99. And we have nieces and nephews. At that time, we just had a few. Now we have many more. And our nephew, Jordan, was in NPS, struggling, getting himself into trouble randomly here and there. And my wife being a teacher, and we had watched him a bunch. Like, we were the favorite aunt and uncle, right? The fun aunt and uncle, not the tough parents and all that kind of stuff. But we just felt like we needed to offer for him to move in with us, to get him out of MPS, get him into the Falls. He could go to school where my wife teaches, so she was always there, not hovering over him, but with the ability to step in if necessary, right? So he moved in with us when he was 7, and he actually lived with us till he was 23 years old. So we got him through elementary school, middle school, high school, and then after high school, I started coaching him in youth football when he was 7 that first year. And that was a phenomenal experience because that was at St. Bernadette's, which is a Northwest Milwaukee program. Okay. The church sponsored it. It was an unbelievable experience. So it gave me the ability to not only coach him, but kids from all different kinds of backgrounds. Some came from very good families, and some came from families that just, they struggled.
Yeah.
And so I'm already taking him in, or we were already taking him in, and I knew how important that was for his development.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was able to take some of those other kids under my wing and love them up, and build their faith in knowing that good things can happen.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a great experience for us. And as I mentioned to you, Jordan, it was beneficial, obviously, for him to move in with us. It helped him tremendously, but I think in some ways it helped us equally, and if not more, to figure out how to be parents before we actually had our actual own kids. So I give him a ton of credit for. He was a great young man, just needed a little bit of extra guidance.
Yeah.
And now, we see each other all the time. He swings over. He's got a great young lady that's his girlfriend, and couldn't be more proud. He's done a great job. He works his butt off.
Yeah.
And he really shines as a human being. Couldn't be more proud of him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And how old were you guys at that point?
Well, that would have been 25 years ago, so I would have been 31.
Okay.
Um,
And you guys didn't have kids yet?
We did not have kids. We had Mason, who was 22. He'll be 23 in August.
Mm-hmm.
2 years later, because I was 33.
Yeah.
Officially becoming a dad.
Yeah.
The first time. And then we had a couple of setbacks before Tyson was born.
Mm-hmm.
So Tyson, the funny thing is Mason was born on August 29th. He was due on September 1st. Same with Tyson, but Tyson came a couple of weeks early.
Okay.
But the 8 years apart.
Yeah. So
Jordan,
I think 8 years apart.
Same. Yep. So apparently December 5th is my day. So now Texas 14, he'll be 15 on August 17th, and he's a baseball player. Yeah. Mason played baseball, football. We just did a golf outing last weekend. He absolutely powders the ball. Yeah. It's a whole new level. I always get a kick out of it as dad, right? Yeah. All these guys on the course that think they can move it a long way. Like Mason, throw a ball up. And he'll hit it 330 in the air, 340 in the air. And people are like, oh, okay. Yeah, that's a whole sound thing off the club.
Yeah, should that clubbing break?
Yeah. But with Jordan, I coached him through sophomore year of high school, actually.
Okay.
And then I started with Mason, and we went through. Again, I coached him in baseball, basketball, and football, and golf.
Okay.
And now Tyson, I coached for a little bit of time. He's a very strong-willed, strong-minded young man. Mm-hmm. Nothing wrong with that. Baseball, for me as a coach, is a little slow. Like football, and be creative.
Yeah.
All that kind of stuff, and it moves a little faster. Indoor practices are a little tough for me to.
Okay.
So we had a couple moments where it was just like, you know what? You love baseball, and you're a very good baseball player. I just want to be dad now. Yeah. So now we go to games, and I'm sitting in my lounge chair and watching and cheering him on, and don't have to. I can just relax. Yeah. Just be myself. Yeah. Get crazy.
Coaching your own kids, and I'm selfishly asking this for me because I coach my son's baseball, and I'll be coaching his soccer. How do you manage the coaching your kids? Because every time I'll talk with Sawyer, he'll be like, oh, try this, blah, blah, blah. He just doesn't want to listen to me when I try and give him advice on stuff. You'll probably help a billion people by answering this question with your experience on coaching, especially young kids. Of what worked well for coaching them. Because obviously they've turned out to be great kids. And it started when you started working with them on the coaching side of things too.
Right.
Obviously, being a dad is important too. Like a coach on the field is a pretty pivotal part of a kid's life.
Yeah, there's no question. And I'll answer that in this way, because in football, in baseball, in basketball, I'm not the only person that's coaching the team.
Yeah.
And so I have those conversations with the people that I coach with that say, I'm not here to favor my kid.
Mm-hmm.
Certainly they're my kids, so maybe they'll be a little biased in certain things. I think that's just innately going to happen.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to go out of my way. I didn't get into coaching to just coach my kid.
Yeah.
And forget about the other 10 or 15 or 30 or 40 kids on the field.
Yeah.
So as a dad who's coaching your kid, the best advice I can give is if you got into coaching because you want your kid to thrive and you're going to favor him and you're going to do everything you can to coach him and not everybody else on the team or your daughter, please don't coach.
Yeah.
Do not coach. If you're getting into it because in your heart of hearts, you know the sport, you're a good person that wants to make a difference for not only your kid, but other kids and other families, other parents, and set an example of how to treat people, then by all means get into coaching. But if it's for a selfish reason, and my selfish reason, I would say, is because I want to help as many people.
Yeah.
You know, life's a dash.
Yeah.
From the day you're born to the day you die, that dash in the middle, what does that look like for people? I want my headstone to say he was a pretty darn good guy.
Yeah.
So, am I perfect? Not even close. But I always tend to err on the side of maybe giving them a pass a little. I don't care if you fumble a ball, or you strike out or whatever it is, as long as you're a teammate and you're doing what you're supposed to do. I don't scream and shout and stuff like that. I scream when the kids are disrespectful.
Yeah.
They're not paying attention. They're talking when another coach is talking, whatever it is. But it really boils down to look yourself in the mirror, ask yourself, why are you coaching? Because I want to favor my kid. And I want to make sure they get as much playing time as possible. Or am I there to take care of everybody? And have an opportunity to impact as many lives as possible. Yeah. I can go back to Jordan's team specifically. They were the best practice players. And we had some kids that came from broken homes. But they just had this thing about them. When the lights went on, it was a wrap. Yeah. Football wise, they were unbelievable. Yeah. Like, I didn't even have to coach. Yeah. All I had to say was, go have fun, boys. Yep. And they just looked at each other like, yep, it's our time. And they crushed. Yeah. And whenever we get together, whether it's 2 or 3 of us, 5 of us, 10 of us, what's cool for me, what's a reward for me is they're like, if you'd coached us all the way through high school, we'd have won 2 or 3 state championships. Because we just enjoyed playing for you. We had so much fun. Yeah. You took care of us. You had our back. If something went wrong, you stepped in. And we always go back to those great moments together. And we remember the wins. We remember how many points we scored. Yeah. Stuff like that, just because I'm not when it comes to those things. But it was more the relationships with the kids. Yeah. We could talk about stuff that happened off the field just as easily as stuff that happened on the field. And that really helped me too to figure it out, because early on in my coaching days, I'd go off on the refs for what I thought was a bad call. And there were a couple of bad calls, right? Yeah. But now when I do coach, I don't let those things bother me. Okay. Because it is what it is. You're not gonna necessarily change it. So going into games now, my mindset is different. Like, okay, just stay relaxed. Something ugly happens, we'll deal with it. But we're going out to have a good time and play our best, have each other's backs, and at the end of the day, whatever the scoreboard says, like, I'm certainly not Nick Saban or Joe Torre getting paid at the end of the day. It's all like volunteer stuff. And So I think the big thing is your mentality going in. And coaching your own kid is a great thing. That's why I don't coach Tyson anymore, though, as I mentioned, because I recognize that he just needed to have somebody else because he's not disrespectful for the most part. Yeah. He's 14. He's a teenager. The other coaches, my son Mason, my older son, actually coaches his baseball. I was one of the coaches on the baseball team. So they don't always get along perfect. Yeah. But other people, when discipline needs to happen, I think you need to ask them to step in so that you can keep your father-daughter, father-son relationship at home. Yeah. And then it doesn't get scarred on the playground or so that's my best thing I can share with you is get into it because you want to make a difference for all the kids, not just your kid. Yeah. And when you do that, it'll naturally take care of itself. Yeah. So you and your wife with that, you're just the sports background and bringing that into the home, like. So let's tie it in a little bit with career wise. So your wife Stephanie has been a finance teacher for. This is her 30th year. 30 years. She started right after we got married. Was her first year. Yep. In the district. So she's been stable with one career, and you've had 30. How many? What was your count? You told me before we started. Yeah. So from when I was a freshman in high school till I turned 36 years old. Yep. And when I turned 36, I was working in a job that I didn't necessarily like, but I wanted to take care of the family, and it was a decent paying job. But I injured my ankle. And while I was out for that 3 weeks, because I had dislocated it completely, it was a bad one. We'll talk about that another time, but it was horrific. Yeah. But I was home on the couch for 3 weeks. I really, I didn't have to have surgery because it was a dislocation that went out and came back in. But ligaments, everything, tendons, torn, stuff like that. So, I had to look myself in the mirror and say, "Oh, what are you doing? Because you're not getting any fulfillment from all these jobs." So I sat down and I wrote down every job I had between freshman year of high school, taking into consideration the resort stuff, of course, and at 36 years old, I had 36 different jobs, whether it was a part-time job, a full-time job, any job that I had. And I did that for the purpose of what did I like, what did I not like, what was I good at, what was I not good at, what characteristics of the people I worked for did I like and what didn't I like. And I tried to figure out and use all those as my way to decipher what should I do. And in 2004, looking at all the different jobs online and monster.com and all that kind of stuff, I came across an opportunity to get into fundraising. And the brief description sounded cool. It was working with kids and coaches and helping in communities. It was a big national fundraising company. Well, I made the phone call, got the interview. Yeah. Had a second interview. They hired me. And in the beginning of that, it was great. I hadn't had a job where necessarily I had all the flexibility that I had because I didn't have to do anything yet. I had to make a living. Yep. And so for 4 years, worked for the national company, and then things got different. It felt different. They started to cut down the size of our territory, the different kinds of groups we could work with for fundraising, because it was working with all high school and youth athletic teams, essentially. Okay. And then for products that they offered, we were limited, and they kept adding more people, though, so they had to pay less to more people, and it just felt very greedy. And so I had a Jerry Maguire moment. Yeah. I went on the company blog, and I said, this doesn't feel like what we all signed up for. Instead of being about kids and coaches and communities, this feels about money, money, money. I think the people that are running the program here need to take a step back, reevaluate, and let's get back to basics. Yeah. Well, of course, there's 200 plus reps in the country. Yeah. We went to a big national meeting, and I was a pariah to all the management, but I've had countless reps reach out and say, first of all, you got some You got some big stones. So second thing. Secondly, though, you're right on. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
And literally 3 months after I set my blog out there, the company filed for bankruptcy. They had overdone everything.
Wow.
And so all 200 plus reps
Yeah.
were all of a sudden out of a job with that company.
Yeah.
Well, because I called it up, I saw it, the writing on the wall. I reached out to suppliers for my cookie dough and my pizzas and my local printer and stuff like that, and I had the table set.
Yeah.
So when they declared bankruptcy, it was a blessing for me.
Yeah.
I lost some commission dollars, but I was able to make those back quickly.
Yeah.
And here we are. From when that happened, that was 16 years ago. I've built a really nice company. I've got a couple of roommates from college and friends, guys who played football with in college that work. They're independent reps. They work for me, but they work with me.
Yeah.
And we've been able to help probably close to 1,500, 1,600 different organizations raise over $12 million.
Wow.
Since 2000.
So now you guys are now what your national company did with 200, where they were, going into school and saying, hey, we want to run your fundraiser for the boys football team. They want to sell popcorn or whatever it might be. Mm-hmm. And they keep a bit, the fundraiser keeps a bit, right? And now that's what you're doing now.
Right.
Project hired you, and now you're kind of independent contractors.
Yeah. So they had their overhead. They had the big guys that own the company, of course, should get paid. And then the ladies in the office that handled all of our paperwork, transactions, stuff like that, they had to get there. And then we had to pay the companies to deliver products. Mm-hmm. And then we finally got our commissions at the end.
Yeah.
And so when they closed their doors, it allowed me, I have a vendor that I pay our costs to. Mm-hmm. And then we forgot to talk the profits that go to the organization. Well, they were decent, but now that there's no overhead, nobody else involved, I was able to actually force the hand, and I gave much more. Like, for example, a $20 discount card with the old company, they give 50%, you make $10. Mm-hmm. And now, depending on a few factors, but we're anywhere from 75 to 80%. And in some cases, you can earn 85% with us. Wow. Because they're the ones that do it lion's share. They're the ones that need to raise the funds. Yeah. And if I can help more people and make a little from each versus, oh no, I'm going to hammer you. Yeah. Then I'm going to make as much money as you did. Yeah. For doing not as nearly as much. So again, it's wanting to give back and help them. Mm-hmm. To raise as much money so that their program can be sustainable. They can give a great experience to their kids. Yeah, and not have to worry about, oh my God, I can't afford a helmet, or I don't have a jersey for this person. Yeah, they can cover all of their needs, and the kids have a great experience. And so that was 16 years ago, right? Correct. Started that. Yep. So how have your kids seen or been involved with the fundraising side of things? Well, when did you first start kind of? Yeah, they've been participants as members of teams that have worked with me in fundraising. So they've sold cookie dough, they've sold pizzas, they've sold Pringles. They've certainly eaten all the products. Follow me. Really? That's way too good. I'm actually known at a lot of schools as the cookie dough guy. Because I wear shorts year round. So the secretaries are like, oh, Tony's here. And then I walk in and kids see me and I'm the cookie dough guy. And it's a proud moniker. I gladly take that moniker. But yeah, if it sells, go for it. Yeah, and Mason now, because we'll talk about the food truck shortly, but Mason helps with fundraising. Yep. It's not necessarily like I love speaking to big groups of people, kicking off the sale, getting them excited. And Mason's got a great personality, but when I was 22, I don't know that I could have done what I do now. Yeah. As effectively. It's a little daunting when you stand in a room full of 300 or 400 people, and you gotta try to explain the fundraiser or tie in some humor and all that kind of stuff. So he helps me in the backside with deliveries, and he's run a few sales. So and then Tyson's a little too young yet. He hasn't. Yeah. He's seen the fruits of being someone, because we do incentives for kids. So if they hit certain levels, they can win money. So both boys have been involved with that. Yeah. Some $20 bills out of a money bag, or stuff like that. Yes. But they see, I think, how dedicated I've been to the other programs, and now as I get older and have more experience, it's just more easy, relaxed. Where I was pretty intense 20 years ago. God, I need this group to crush it so I can. Yeah. And now that, again, we take out the middleman and we've kind of got things figured out. Yeah. It's more relaxing, and it's always been enjoyable, but now it's like the best. Yeah. The best. That's awesome. What has been a challenge when it comes to starting fundraising, and then I think we'll dive into the Rise and Shine food truck too. Like, what have been some challenges for you over the last decade or two? Well, the big challenge is the world is changing, right? It's always changing, evolving, devolving, depending on what you think, what you don't think, right? Yeah. So the challenge is, like, it used to be a decade ago, kids were out there pounding the pavement, and we'd get phone calls saying, "Oh my God, my kid, he's never been inspired by anything but your speech to get him going out the cell and help his team. Yeah, I've never seen my kid do this." And so we had some unbelievable results. We always generally have a target of 20 items sold, whether that's cookies or Pringles or pizzas, whatever it is, because those tend to get the dollars for the programs that they need to really thrive. Yeah. We always have kids that go over and above that sell 30, 40, 50. We've had kids in the 200s, 400s. We had one kid from up in Kakana. He sold 600 boxes of cookie dough. So we've had, like, very results driven programs for years, and nowadays there's less emphasis. People are more willing to just accept whatever effort the kids are putting in. And so it's just a challenge from the standpoint of when I go to help someone, I want to maximize what they're doing. I have, if anything, I've added some things with the leadership stuff that we do over the years to try to help develop not only dollars in the program, but on whatever level, help that build character and get the kids out there off their phones and work on their interpersonal communication skills. Yeah. And it's just, we're in a different place now where people are, like, that used to make $30,000 to $40,000 profit with us. They're happy with 8 or 7 or 10 grand. Yeah. Which is still, that's a lot of money. Yeah. But compared to the old days, so that's really the biggest challenge, is how do we get kids and coaches, because everybody's got there's so many things going on, whether you're in 4 sports or you've got, band or choir, mom and dad are both working. So do we want to spend that time, or do we just want to write a check? Is that the easier thing to do? Yeah. So it's really trying to stay fresh with ideas, new things, incentives. Has been the biggest challenge, is because it's just changed so dramatically over. We didn't used to have to, we'd give a good rah-rah speech and get it going, and it's very genuine, and they do it, and they will go out. And now you can do the exact same thing and expect, half to 2/3 the production that it used to be. Yeah. So don't necessarily know what there's a lot of things. It's just like in football, a lot of people are walking away from football. People blame it on concussions and all that stuff. As someone who's coached, sure, there's some of that, but to me, it's more of the financial commitment, the time commitment. It's more of the coaches that coach their kid only. and make a bad situation for the rest of the team.
Yeah.
They get yelled at, screamed at all the time because they fumbled or dropped a pass, not because they were being disrespectful.
Yeah.
Who wants to go and be part of that?
Yeah.
So I think there's a lot more of poor coaching and just time and financial commitment that are affecting kids not going into certain sports.
Yeah.
And that's evolved, not evolved.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
That's interesting. I guess I mean I'm not in that full space yet with football. Our son's only 7 at this point, but with soccer and baseball, I have seen over the last, because he's done this for, I think this is his 3rd year, and the number of teams definitely goes down as the kids get older. It's like the first year there were 8 soccer teams with 5 of us. And then the next year when it was 6, it was 6 teams, and now it's 3 or 4 teams.
Right.
And so it's like the team numbers go down as kids start to figure out what they want to do and not do. It's like trying everything. Some kids just aren't built for it. But yeah, as it gets older and they start talking about, all these different, you got travel baseball, gymnastics stuff where parents are running their kids all over and it's super expensive. You got the hockeys, it's never ending. And so I think that's as a parent, I'm going to tie this to a little bit of a burnout with kids, because I think this is a good one too, especially from your background and with kids. How do you avoid burnout with your kids in sports in general, and making sure they're putting in the right amount of effort?
Yeah, so I've got a good example because Jordan, my nephew that lived with us, he was a football only kid. He played pickup basketball and he'd play baseball, and I'd take him to the driving range. Football was his passion, and that was the only organized sport that he played. But he was involved and he hung out with friends, much like when I was younger.
Yeah.
We played all kinds of sports all the time. But when we were in Little League, we were in Little League.
Yeah.
When we played football, we played football. There was no crossover. Oh, I gotta miss your practice so I can be at this practice.
Yeah.
Or I've got to miss that game so I can go to this game.
Yeah.
With so much overlap. So I think it really boils down to, and I'm all for the multi-sport athlete. I think the more experiences you have in different things, much like my work career, the more it lends to having a more well-based development. Tyson now, he's a baseball kid. We made him play basketball this last year. He's a nice golfer, although he doesn't love golf. And for a while there, he was going to 3 or 4 or 5 things a week in baseball. Well, you've only got so many throws on your arm.
Yeah.
So he had some fatigue, so we had to back him off of that. Mason was the one who was the athlete that was football, baseball, basketball, golf, track. And he finally, because I would check in with him, and he'd be like, "Oh, good, good, good." And then he finally was like, "You know what? I can't do, baseball anymore. I can't do, or I don't want to do this anymore. I want to focus on these couple things." So my youngest son and my nephew were singular sport was their passion, and then do other things. And then Mason was really good at all. He's one of the best pure athletes. Big, strong, for his size, quick, powerful as can be. Yeah. We talked about it. He can hit a golf ball like nobody's business. Yeah. And he's fallen in love with that. Now that's his passion now that he's out of high school and college. He did go to college for a little bit, and that was right when COVID hit. Yeah. You had to wear a mask in your room. You had to wear a mask in class. Didn't have class. Those classes was all online. You were sitting in your room at college with a class. And it's just, so it just turned out not to be for him. And getting to work with him on the food truck is a huge blessing. Like,
Yeah.
It couldn't be more cool for me. And Tyson will step up on the truck once in a while and help out. My wife helps out when she can.
Yep.
To make a family thing out of it. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. So let's jump in the food truck here quick before we wrap up, because the food truck, I know I'm trying to get you guys locked in here for an event that we have coming up. But talking about food truck, when it started, like what was the whole premise behind it? Like how the heck did you like, I'm gonna do a food truck?
Yeah, so you can see looking at me, I'm a little bit of a foodie, right? But in 2020, when the pandemic hit, fundraising, I'm working with high school and youth athletics. There's no sports going on.
Yeah.
So there's no teams to work with. Mm-hmm. And if there were, who's going to go knock on doors? Yeah. And ask for help and support? Nobody. Mm-hmm. And my wife's done an amazing job with her finances and all that kind of stuff. And, she's got a great job. Teacher, she's got benefits. Mm-hmm. So we rely on her for that. And it wasn't necessarily that I had to work, mm-hmm. but sitting, and I'm like, I do the dishes and fold the laundry and, cut the boys' hair. Mm-hmm. I do a lot of things at home. Yeah. Do most of the cooking. But I just couldn't sit there and feel like I wasn't contributing. Yeah. Financially. So I said, we went out for a walk one night and I decided I'd really either like to start a bakery or a food truck. And she said, well, I know you and your passion to take care of people. And if you open a bakery, brick and mortar bakery, I know that I'll never see you. Mm-hmm. It'll take away from family time. So let's talk about this food truck idea. And she was the one that actually, I wanted to do like burgers and some specialty things. But she's like, why don't you do breakfast? Like, there's nobody that does breakfast. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And how easy is it to make eggs and bacon and sausage and pancakes and all that kind of stuff? And like immediately when she said that, I was like, well, man, perfect. Yeah. And we've evolved and we do a lot of things now, but she said, all right, you find the truck and get it made and you can do the food truck. But we're not cutting into family time. You're not missing graduations or this event or that event. So we're going to sit down with the calendar. We're going to go through the calendar, and I'm going to let you know when you're available to work and when we need to have family time. And I'm like, yep. If that's what it takes to start it, let's do it. Yeah. Well, I found the truck. That's a totally fair request. Absolutely. Yeah. I love that she did that and set boundaries. That's a key to like you're getting married 30 years and right. Like the communication behind that. Yeah. Where I feel like, and I don't want to interrupt it, but I think that's such a key point from a marriage standpoint. Is if she didn't say that and you were booking things, that's when resentment starts to pile up for sure. And then it's a snap. Yeah. Then it's like, you're never home, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, you guys that is such a key point. I think people will love and understand that of like, you guys set boundaries as a couple, right? As a family first, before the business. That's literally the purpose of the podcast. Yeah. You did it so well, maybe accidentally, but that's just the way you guys are as a family unit. So that's amazing. Yeah. Well, she also said, keep in mind, you still want to coach and you still need some flexibility. And I'm like, no, all great. Because the fundraising side, I knew it was going to come back. It was just a matter of when. Yeah. But I couldn't, it was going to be a year, 2 years, however long it's going to take. Yeah. So I found the truck, had it built out. The final bill came, and she said, you take every job you can. I don't care if I ever see you there next. So it changed a little bit, but I still within reason. That's expensive. Still within reason, we have our calendars and we go through it on a pretty regular basis. Probably not as often as she would like, but I've got a really good memory and I remember conversations. It's declined a little over time now, but I just need to hear you say, we've got this, we're going to this wedding on this date. If it's in the line, I have to make sure that I have documentation for her because she's got a busy schedule as well. And she works on those schedules and I work mentally. Yep. And it's got me in trouble just occasionally. Yeah. There you go. But yeah, the communication part, we still 30 years in, she's a way better communicator, and she put it out there. This is what it's going to be, or this is what my expectation is. Uh, and she's definitely the leader from our standpoint of making sure that everything is communicated. I'm a work in progress. Sometimes
Yeah.
she's right. Sometimes I think we've had a conversation about something, but it was actually in my head. It wasn't face to face, or I didn't document it the way I should have.
Yeah.
Right. The way it's been asked that we do. So
Yep. That's 100% of people listening to this have.
yeah, for sure. It's a constant thing forever and ever. So, but we got the food truck off the ground. We opened Cinco de Mayo of 21 was our first day open. So we just had the 3-year anniversary.
Awesome.
We started out mainly breakfast, but we've evolved now where we do our smash burgers, our cheesesteaks, our specialty sandwiches, specialty tacos. We have a deep fryer in our truck, so we do French fried donuts, which people absolutely love. We can do anything.
Yeah.
We're probably the most flexible food truck because you ask me to do something, we can do pasta bars, we can do taco bars, we can do breakfast bars, whatever it is that you want.
Well, your truck is huge too, right?
Yeah, we've got an excellent truck. We've got a 22-foot kitchen end to end. I'm a claustrophobic guy. As a big guy, Mason's a big guy.
Yeah.
We don't want to be running into each other because that is frustrating, right? Especially when you're super busy and you're bumping into each other. So we're most food trucks because we're in the business now. We pay attention. Most food trucks, they'll have 2 or 3 people in there, but they're pretty close quarters.
Yeah.
We could realistically work with 6 people in our food truck and everybody have space and be comfortable. And I built it intentionally like that.
Yeah.
It's just sometimes it's a little cumbersome depending on where we have, talking about your location here, where we can park our truck.
Yeah.
And have it make sense without being in people's way.
Yeah.
That's sometimes a challenge as well.
Yeah.
But we have a great time working together.
Mm-hmm.
Tonight we have an event where it's me, Mason, and my wife. It's actually at one of the schools she teaches at, so all of her students are excited that they're going to get a family night.
Yeah.
Come to see Mrs. Resch in the window, taking their orders and getting all excited tonight. So it's very rewarding to get to work with family, and doesn't always go perfectly smooth, but from a truck standpoint, it does. From a
family dynamic.
Are you kidding me right now? Standpoint, sometimes we butt heads, but you get over that quickly.
Yeah.
So
what has been like your biggest aha moment being a dad? Is there anything in particular that you can think of and being like, this is something that I feel like we've done really, really well parenting wise with kids that you want to share?
For me and my experience, our experience as parents, the aha moments are when our kids come to us with the realization that what we've been trying to set the table for them was really what it was supposed to be. Mm-hmm. They acknowledge either you were right to tell me these things, or thank you for having my back. It really boils down to acknowledging the effort, the love, the passion you put into being parents. Yeah. Being reciprocated. Don't get me wrong, they're great kids and do great stuff all the time, but when they stop in the moment and they're thankful for what they've got. Yeah. They don't take things for granted. Mm-hmm. We all do, but they this past Mother's Day, we got them little books. There were questions to answer about mom. She said, "Do you think that they'll put in the time and the effort?" And then I'm like, "Well, if they do what we know they're capable of, yes." Mm-hmm. And they literally had her in tears at the kitchen table because of the thoughtfulness and the little things that they've taken away from certain moments in time. Mm-hmm. And completely blew her away, blew me away. I'm like, well, I'm proud of you always for and I get a lot to be proud of, a lot to be thankful for. But those are the aha moments when come to the realization that the tough love or the, extra 5 minutes of harping on them was for a reason, and that they really learned the lesson or take the thing away that most was going to help them.
Yeah.
Be better people.
Yeah.
Those are the that's what the reward is at the end of the day. Like Jordan, our nephew, when he comes back over, he's like, man, he was like, you guys were crazy 20 years ago. And it played out exactly like you said it was. Or thank you for doing this or that. And those are the most rewarding moments that you can have. That was great.
Yeah, that's amazing. You guys have had quite a story and a lot of experiences along the way that led to where you guys are now. I always wrap up with one final question, and that's, what does being a father figure mean to you?
To me, it means I can be the person that I was put here on this earth to do, to take care of people, but the people closest to me, to my boys, to my wife, to my immediate family, to my friends. In coaching, it's the ability again to nurture and take care of other people.
Yeah.
I think being the father and what it means is to give your best of yourself to everybody else to hopefully make the world better.
Amen, right?
Amen.
That's perfect. Well, let's wrap it up with that, because I can't think of a better way to wrap it up than that. So, everybody, I hope you enjoyed the episode. I know I think of that.
I was talking to you, Jake. You're such a good man, and we have a lot of the same, I think, values and morals, and want to make a difference in the world. And so God bless you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, very nice. God bless you, man. Where can people find it? Where's websites? You guys online somewhere for Rise and Shine?
It's spelled out Rise and Shine, WI.com is our website. People can always call me, 262-227-7732.
Perfect.
We really hang our hats on private events, corporate events. We've got a lot of graduation parties coming up this summer. Tomorrow we have a corporate luncheon out in Pewaukee.
Okay.
Friday we have the chamber shoot out at the Waukesha Gun Club.
Oh yeah.
We've got a 80th birthday party and a wine run, both to do on Saturday with a doubleheader back to back.
Yeah.
We try to get our schedule on the website.
Okay.
That's probably one of my weakest areas because I'm just focused on taking care of people.
Yep.
I need to be better. I've got a great lady who built our website, and Kayla, and I need to get her our solid schedule because people are always asking, "Where are you going to be?"
Well, there you go. Now you have to get me there.
We have more corporate, private things scheduled than we do. We have a lot of concerts in the park at Village Park and Menominee Falls for the summer.
Yep.
Other than that, we really like the grad parties are phenomenal. We can take our time, talk to people, get to know them a little bit.
Yeah.
And doctor up and make some special food because we're not rushed with big long lines of people, which we love, which it's great, but it's just more personal for us, and we really like to hang our hats there if we can.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, perfect. Well, everybody tune into the next one. It'll be coming out Tuesday after this will be the next one, so we'll hope to see you all there. So again, thank you very much, man.
Thank you, Jake.
That was amazing.
Yeah, appreciate it.
All right, everyone, take care.
Bye now.